today. But my name is Jane Pack. I'm the CEO of the National Association of Women Business Owners for Los Angeles, and am grateful to be able to moderate a panel with such esteemed panelists today that I'll introduce to you in a moment. We're talking about access to capital for minority women-owned businesses. So we'll start off immediately to my left. This is Mark Wilson. He's an operating partner at Frontier Capital, also the Chief Executive Officer and President of eVerifile. He's actually from Arkansas, but he lives in Atlanta. And he has raised $700,000, $7 million, $8 million, $27 million, and has also maintained minority status in his business. One of his partners is, you may have heard of him, Magic Johnson. And one thing you might not know about him, he was a roller skater in high school for Sonic Burger. It's like, these are real people. Immediately to Mark's left is, oh my goodness, Melissa White. Melissa's fantastic. She's the South Valley District Manager at Wells Fargo. She's actually from Piscataway, New Jersey. Anybody from Jersey here? Anyone? Hey, Jersey. Never mind. Jersey Shore is finally getting cut off. Thank God. Yes, right? Enough of that garbage. But she's been in LA for the past 10 years, and as she said, what else is there besides LA? Long family of bankers. We asked her why she's been in banking. And she comes from a long family of bankers, starting when she was 16 years old. But they do have small business in their family blood. They make hot sauce as a family. Hot sauce, did you hear that? Immediately to Melissa's left is my good friend Victor Parker, who is the District Director of the Small Business Administration District Office in LA. Victor's been there for about a year, and we waited for him for years to get there. Victor is not from, you're not from Jersey, are you? Oh yeah.
No, I'm not.
He's the only one that's not from Jersey. Everyone has a little bit of Jersey in them, but Victor's not. But Victor, he's been a long-time member of LA and comes from a family of small business owners, in fact, including catfish farmers. Tell me, that's not like interesting people. And of course, finally at the end, but certainly not least, Marcel, I'm not going to say your middle name, Paisley. Yeah. He asked me not to. I'm going to be nice today. Marcel is the first vice president at California Bank and Trust. He's been in banking for over 30 years, so he started when he was like 2. Graduate from Cal State Northridge. And one thing you wouldn't know about him, he was a short order cook. And what's the secret to an Ali burger?
Thousand Island dressing.
Thousand Island dressing. You heard it here. So we're going to go ahead and kick off the conversation, and I wanted to start with you, Mark. Let's talk about the different types of capital and how they're different. Angel funding, venture capital funds, private equity partners, you've been through all of them. And of course, traditional lending. And you've heard many no's and many yeses, obviously, in going after different types of funding. Can you tell us a little bit about your experience, especially about those no's and how you got past that to yeses?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the panels, all the panels today have been really good with respect to your question in that they've been designed to provide information to all of us as entrepreneurs and business owners as to where to go and how to go about raising capital. I don't know if I'd say this is fortunate or unfortunate, but I've been in a position where I've had to raise capital from almost every source that's been here today, from community development money to private equity to debt. All of it I've had the need to have raised and have gotten an opportunity to have done that over the last 2 companies. This is the second company that I started up from the ground. And so in the last company that we had, which was an outsourced provider of call center services, we basically bootstrapped for most of the time. I know in the last panel, Jeff made mention of the fact that you have to get used to no's, and then to try to turn those no's into positives and put yourself in a position while having been told no to build on that experience, so that when you get to a point where you're able to raise the capital, that you've done it from a place of knowledge, where you really understand what it is that you're getting yourself in. Because I think, in kind of concluding my thoughts here, it's a bad thing to take money and you don't really know what it is that you've done. And there's a lot of lessons that have been learned where the need drives you to go after money, and you take it, and then you don't know what the end result will be, which is in a lot of cases not so positive for the owner. So.
Okay. So, Victor,
Yes.
you see entrepreneurs like Mark all day long. What are some of the must-dos for business owners if they're going to go after any type of funding?
Well, I think one of the main things that I often tell businesses that I meet with is what I call the 3 Ps. There's preparation, persistence, and really some patience. I think that today's lending environment calls for all 3. And I think that what we find is that business owners need to come in prepared with a business plan. They need to have a marketing plan. And most importantly, they need to make sure that they can demonstrate that they actually know what they're going to do with the money and how they're going to manage the money. With our economy the way it is, so many folks are now reinventing themselves or taking hobbies that they have and making them into businesses, which is great. But if they're not able to show how they're going to manage that business and show how they're going to be able to use those proceeds and specifically what it's for, it creates an issue and makes, as far as them being bankable. And so the main thing I would emphasize is always make sure that you're prepared, and that's one of the things that the SBA does, is to provide technical assistance and resource services for those businesses. So you can go to our small business development centers, you can go to a SCORE chapter, or you can go to one of our women's business centers that are actually designed to help you with those specifics. I mean, those SCORE counselors have actually been in the particular business that you may be in. And so they can give you insight that you would not otherwise have. And again, if you like to cook, for example, don't go open up a restaurant unless you've actually worked in a restaurant, or unless you have a business partner that's worked in a restaurant. You'd be surprised how many people will come in and say, I make the best Thanksgiving dinner in the world, everybody loves it, I want to go open a restaurant. But that's not what's going to make you bankable. So I think it's very, very important to do that on the front end. And look at your other alternatives. For example, we have microloan programs and different programs within the SBA where we're now kind of looking at the fact that some businesses may not need $500,000 or large amounts of money. So we're coming up with alternative programs that would actually be able to offer those businesses smaller loan dollar volume so that they can access those funds either through our microloan programs or some of our other alternative lending programs and nonprofits.
So what should businesses do? They should come to the SBA. They should
Absolutely.
call. They should make an appointment.
Exactly.
Yes.
So yeah, SBA, like, again, come to our office. We actually have a table in the other room. But go to our small business development centers. We have, for example, in our district, which covers all 3 counties, we have 8 different ones all over the county. So there's access to you everywhere you go, but that's where you really need to start. You really need to go there to begin and get you started.
Okay, so my awesome meatloaf doesn't mean I'm going to be a great business owner.
No, unfortunately, no.
Doesn't mean I won't be. But speaking of being bankable, Melissa, talk to us a little bit about traditional lending and the perspective from the bank of what do you see as bankable and what are some of the things that you look for and what are some of the mistakes you commonly see business owners make when they come to you?
So having been a business owner and a banker together in one, I personally don't believe any small business or business owner makes a mistake intentionally, right? I think there are some things that we miss along the way around what the process looks like or what education around what my business needs. And I think both Mark and Victor touched on something that was very, very important. It's around preparation, around knowledge, and that's what Wells Fargo pretty much looks to offer all of our customers. We have 70 million customers across the United States, a very diverse population of customers who some happen to be small businesses. And when they seek advice from us around securing lending and capital, et cetera, our role is really to walk them through, what are the steps? What can you expect along the way? I have a few of my bankers here in the audience and that help achieve the dreams of our small businesses, but it boils down to 2 very simple fundamentals. Education on the process, what should I expect? Clear expectations on when I do submit a package for application, what does that look like? And if at all, should that package be declined, we have an amazing, fantastic second look program which allows that package to get that deeper look, right? We're looking at it from all aspects. And, you know, if there are opportunities for further education, we help our customers find that option. So I'd encourage anyone here today, reach out to one of our banking centers, go in and ask the questions, seek the advice. Our role is to help you understand where you are and what's needed to get you to where you need to go to achieve those dreams.
So thank you for that lead-in. Speaking of education, Marcel, can you tell us a little bit about initiatives that women and minority-owned business can tap into that are education-based?
Well, one of the things that you can do is be here. This is a great opportunity to learn what's happening right now. Obviously, in the real world, sometimes you may hear something on television or on the radio or whatever, and you may hear somebody say something, but maybe that's not exactly what's happening right there in the branch or as far as credit-wise is concerned. But the key thing is, there really is two things, and everybody touched on them. The one is education, and that's what the banks are doing now. Lending is very difficult no matter who you are because of all the different regulations, what's happening today. So what the banks can do, they can take a look and say, hey, look, how can we make you bankable? What do you need to know to make yourself bankable to a Wells Fargo, to a California Bank and Trust, to a B of A, whatever bank you can think about. And you'll see that on everybody's website. You go to almost any bank's website and they have pretty much the same type of information about what you need as far as a business plan, a marketing plan, an executive summary. Why do we turn people down sometimes? I mean, sometimes it's almost like tough love. What happened in the last 4 or 5 years, people couldn't get the business loan, but what did they do? They got the mortgage loan, right? And what they did is they paper covered they cash covered their losses, or they equity covered their losses on the business as a result by using the equity in their home. And eventually, if the business fails, what happens? You lose your business, and then they lost their home. And we saw that. So sometimes people may not be quite ready for a bank loan, but what we can do through educational process is to lead you into the right direction. And one thing banks are really doing really well now too, even if we can't do the loan, what we do now is we work very closely with organizations that can further educate you, further mentor you, and actually at times can actually fund what you need. We talked about the VDC. There's a group in San Francisco called the Working Solutions. There's Axion in San Diego. So banks understand it's a tough environment, but banks do want to help by the educational process and also giving everybody access to other alternatives.
Excellent. I want to shift gears for 1 second. We talked a lot about banking, traditional lending. Mark, you have built and sold companies, and I know one of the business you're in now, you have an equity partner, which is Magic Johnson. Can you talk a little bit about what some of the challenges may be for women and minority-owned businesses that take on equity partners and maintaining that status, and how you went about your decision of partnering with Magic Johnson?
Yes, it's a really good question, because I think, and again, this was something that was mentioned on one of the other panels, was the fact of small business owners, particularly minority and women-owned businesses, are not that comfortable taking private equity, and it's the notion of, if I take private equity, then someone will come in and they'll actually take control of my business, and then therefore I don't have a business anymore. And I really want to make the point that you shouldn't be afraid of the private equity money that's out there, because it can really help you to do what you need to do in terms of growing your business. Now, this part of the equation where there's fear about taking the money and losing your status as an MBE. And I think it's a little known fact out there that the National Minority Supplier Development Council, which is I think the preeminent certifying agency around the country, has an initiative in place that's called the Growth Initiative. And that initiative was designed to allow minority-owned business owners to take on private equity and still be in a position to maintain your status as an MBE. It's little known, definitely little used. In my prior company, prior to the company that I have now, we were the second company, and this is just a few years ago, a couple of years ago, we were the second company that were certified under the Growth Initiative. And I think it's because a lot of folks don't necessarily know about it and haven't done the research to know that that's out there and available to you. And it made it easier in this last transaction, which we were in a position to buy a company, and we did that, and we structured it around the growth initiative. I had a company, and then we took in money to grow that business to a position where it could buy the company that I now own, E-Verifile. So I would just say be studious again. It's a common theme. You really need to know all of the things that are out there and available to you that will help you to stay in a place where you are an MBE. I think a lot of us have pride in that fact. And it's still possible to take on growth equity capital and still maintain that status.
What percentage do you maintain?
Yeah, you have to. Traditionally, you need to be north of 50%. And with the growth initiative, if it's institutional capital and it's a qualifying entity that's making the investment, you only have to be at 30+%.
Oh, okay.
I mean, there's some other rules, and we don't have the time to get into them today, but really, it's available and it's doable, and I've used it, effectively in both the businesses that I've had.
Good to know. I think that was pretty valuable. So we can open it up to Q&A. I can't see very well, so if you're raising your hand, I won't know. Does anyone have any questions? There's no way you don't have questions. Are you guys just tired? Do you have food coma? Oh, there's a question. I see a hand. Get him.
I got a quick question. Me being a young entrepreneur, minority, with the whole business consulting, what are the steps to take to be able to be, at the level of, or have the same level playing field as other consulting businesses?
Try to take it as an entrepreneur. I mean, I don't know that it necessarily has to do with, I guess there is some connection to the money, because, you have to have your business properly funded if you're going to compete. But again, it's back to this common theme of being studious, really understanding what's out there. Who are your competitors? What are you up against from a competitive standpoint? What do you need to do to put yourself? Because, I don't know that I necessarily accept that it's an unlevel playing field. I mean, there are challenges. Trust me, I understand and know them. But, they are overcome. You can't overcome them if you are able to just understand what you're faced with. So, I'm not sure that's the answer you want to hear, but I just as a living testament, you just have to accept what's out there and try to do what you need to do to win.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I totally agree. You have to be the best you can be. You have to be studious. You have to know your field. You may want to take on a mentor too. Mentors have helped me in my profession.
Oh,
I'm sure it's helped them in their profession too. Somebody that has been there has done that. And there are many people out there, especially in the minority community and the women-owned community, that would love to do that, because they know the hard time they had to get to where they had to go or where they at. So you may want to look for a mentor.
Yeah.
And if I may also add, I think that lead with competency. I mean, the fact that you may be young and that you're new is not necessarily a negative thing, but if you lead with competency in terms of what your skills are, what are you bringing to the table, that will carry you a long way. And again, with our resource partners, our advisory network, with SBA, SCORE chapters are actually retired executives who have done certain business. You can find a consultant, or with our small business development centers. These are folks who have been in that business. They've been in the trenches. They understand what it takes to get started. And so always, look to those resources. And again, as we earlier stated, get a mentor and lead yourself through that process, and take the time to really learn your competition and learn the arena that you're trying to get into.
Yeah, I agree.
And I would just offer one tip, and it's something I tell business owners, I tell anyone that I come in contact with, along with getting a mentor, being studious, and making certain that you know the industry that you're in, I'd say be extremely consistent with the way you interact with the folks you come in contact with. Be consistent and build your brand that is consistent with what you want it to be. So whatever your business model, your vision, your ultimate goal, I'd say be extremely focused on saying, this is the consistent image, interaction, experience you'll get when working with me. It goes a very long way in businesses.
I'll add one point to that, just based on my observation of some very successful businesses. And I get it, you're like a small fish in a pond and you're just coming in. One angle that I've seen business owners take that differentiates them, especially when you're new, is to figure out where in the value chain you fit. So if you know what clients you're going after, know what it is that's valuable to them and know where you fit in that picture. Because when you can articulate to them how you fit into their entire picture of what is valuable, they can understand that better and they can see how you fit into their organization. And I think that's a tactic that I see, you know, young or emerging businesses take that's different, because it's the way that they can show that they're valuable. Look how I fit into your organization, rather than here's what I can offer you, like everybody else. That's just what I've seen work with many up-and-coming businesses. I think we saw another question. Yes? You raised your hand. Oh, we need a mic.
I was going to jump in and ask a question
Jump
too.
in.
But I'm going to wait.
The water's
I'll
warm.
let this gentleman ask first.
Thank you. First of all, I want to say thank you for all the information I have gathered today. And my name is Emil Holmes with Multi-Angles. I've been since 2007 trying to start my own business, entrepreneuring, and been working since I was 7 years old and understand a whole lot. My phone number is 661.
Okay.
208 7217. That's 661 208 7212. Okay, now my thing is a lot of people need a think tank, and I've been trying to set one up. It's hard to set up anything, but I'm gonna start up a think tank, which lead me to writing a book about how to be successful in business. And my main thing is youth, working with the youth. And I did that first, went broke, using the money like through my own ventures, real estate venture, buying and selling real estate. And now I'm gonna work with veteran housing because there's a whole lot of money into veterans today. It's more than a lot of people could imagine. And it just has to be worked. It's like a garden that has to be worked. I'm also an inventor. So anybody that wanna be a part of the think tank and wanna get paid, think about the stick man. I'm the stick man with no clothes. But when you look up, you see the clothes and the arm sideways. Okay. That's gonna be the book when y'all see it. Thank you.
Free advertising, awesome.
Hey,
he took advantage of opportunity. Good for him.
Yes, he did. That's an entrepreneur for you.
That's right.
Jane, you did a great job of introducing the panel and allowing everyone to tell us all what they all do. But we didn't hear about what you do. So we would like to know, and I'd love for you to tell the audience exactly what the National Association of Women Business Owners does and how you can help some of the ladies in this room.
It's true. Thank you. So we're a nonprofit organization. We're a C6 and a C3, which means that we are membership-based and we're a foundation. We predominantly build educational programs. We're all about education on this table. And we build capacity programs. So we're all about businesses, not mainly women, but you know, we're very friendly to women-friendly men. So like, if you're about women doing well, then come on in, because we believe in peer learning, and you can't, you know, you have to have a diversity of thought and experience at a table to really learn. So we are welcoming of all different types. We call them women and non-women. But we build educational programs, and we're all about helping you build capacity and grow a business, not just to fund your lifestyle, but to create jobs and to employ people. You know, our business owners in Los Angeles, we represent over 509,000 women business owners in Los Angeles alone. We're the largest community of WIBIs in the world. And they generate over $129 billion in revenue and employ over 670,000 Los Angelinos. So it's a pretty big community. So come on in, everybody's welcome.
Yeah.
If you want more information, just go to nabola.org.
Can I say something?
Yeah.
There's you touched on capacity and capacity building, and I know as women and minority-owned business owners, it's what you struggle with growing your business, is being in a position for these larger enterprise customers when they're looking to try to do business with you, to be able to compete, because they want to do business with companies that can handle what it is that they have out there as far as work is concerned. And this access to capital summit, I think, is appropriate on that point, because in order to do that, in order to have the capacity that you need to effectively grow your business, you really do need to properly fund it. You need to have the proper capital structure within your business to be able to do that. So I just, I'm really trying to make sure I give credit and honor to what Jeff and his team has done by putting this access to capital summit together, because it's so necessary, particularly with women and minority-owned businesses. I think we don't necessarily get the information that we need in order to effectively compete. And so, just a sidebar.
Thank you.
I can say one. Yeah. And don't be afraid to go to your banker. Okay, you can go to your branch, and you may not be ready right yet now, maybe for a certain product right now, but you can ask your banker. A good banker is also a consultant too. You can ask your banker, where do you need to go? What do I need to do? That's what they're there for. They're not just there to do loans, even though we love doing loans and booking loans and stuff like that. But we're there to help too, because of the 10 people that walk in, we may do loans for 3 or 4, but the other 6 may be down the line. Those are customers down the line or customers right now. So don't be afraid to go to your banker and talk to them about where you need to go, how your situation looks right now.
Yeah. I think it also I think it's important, regardless of where you are in your business journey, whether you're a startup, at some point you're going to need to address the access to capital. You may be an existing business and you're going to need to grow, you need to service a contract. So the sooner that you start learning and educating yourself about the banking process and about how to manage your credit, how to manage your cash flow, all those things are a part of growing and a part of your business journey. So if you don't have, your tax returns may not look all that great, your credit score may not be all that great, go ahead and start initiating that dialogue, whether it's with your banker, again, with some of our resource partners, with the SBA, because it's really going to be crucial to your success going forward for you to kind of get your hands around that whole concept. Yeah. It's really important.
And get your DUNS number.
Yes, DUNS number, yes.
Get your DUNS number. I'm serious.
Yes,
People
you're
put
right.
too much of their own personal credit on the line with their business, and you don't have to. Get your DUNS number. Get your business credit together. That's a shameless plug for DUNS.
I just want to point out, we are lending. So,
even more than her.
We are vigorously lending, and I would say after you've educated yourselves and you went out and you met with a banker, get the knowledge, get the steps, but don't be afraid to take that leap and
That's
bound,
right.
because it is absolutely, a story tale that we're not lending. We are vigorously lending. So thank you for the opportunity to connect with all of you today.
Yeah.
Any more questions? Oh, I see 2 sort of hands.
I can't see.
Lady in the white blouse, and then the gentleman behind her with your hand still up. Oh, you just cut in between the guy I was talking about.
You want to go first?
Oh.
Hello, my name is Troy. I have a question. If your industry is very new and your business is in a new industry, do you guys loan credit on the business or the industry needing a track record before you guys can, if no one else is raising capital in that industry, and that person's like one of the forerunners, what do you guys look at, or do you even at all?
Could you repeat the question? I'm so sorry, we couldn't hear you clearly.
Do you say on the business or the industry? Is that
right.
What you said?
If an industry is very new, and you're in that industry, and you want to borrow money or raise capital, you guys you don't have a blueprint of how the industry is yet, but you know it's growth coming, but you don't have it's not a proven track record yet. So do you guys don't touch it until you see more growth ahead, or do you look at that business and say, okay, well, they seem like they have their stuff together, and I'll loan off of that and not the industry itself?
I think I could start that,
okay.
right?
Well, obviously, there's some industries that banks like better than other industries. But as far as just saying that we don't lend on your industry unless it's some type of prohibited, you're not dancing somewhere at Chippendales or anything like
No,
that.
not this one.
Okay. Well, we will take a look individually at you, but once again, it all comes down to debt coverage, cash flow, collateral. All those things come into play. So some industries are prohibited. Some industries we like better. We like manufacturers. We like wholesales. Those are banks traditionally like those types of businesses. But that doesn't mean that just because it's a new type of business, we won't take a look at it as long as you qualify.
Yeah, and I would just add on, I think you want to look at a couple of different things. Is my business generating cash? Am I managing my debt appropriately? And am I making my payments on time? Those are the three simple things for any industry, right? When securing capital. So I would say look for those things in your business, and again, go meet with a banker. Don't be afraid to explore that opportunity with a bank. Don't let a new industry hold you back.
Because when I do ask my banker, they're like, because I do apps, and so the app business been around since three years, iPhone apps.
Okay.
So it's really, when I go there, they're looking at me like, what is, huh?
Well, it might be, given respect to my banking friends here, it may be the kind of capital that you're looking. You may look to different sources that's more angel investing, equity-based investing in your business, rather than traditional debt, which is what they represent. It's harder to do that on no history, no track record, no financials. It's more a venture play with with money that has risk associated with it that you might want to look at.
Okay, thank you.
We have one more question.
Yes, the young lady.
Hi, my name is Kathy Ebsen, and I've actually been I have 2 established businesses that at this time I'm looking to seek funding. And my questions are, number one, are there any specific organizations or lending institutions that cater strictly to women?
We were talking about this really as we were coming in behind stage here about it. There really aren't, and I don't just what I know, programs that are just specifically for a woman or minority-owned business. But I will tell you that a lot of the community development funds have what they call a double bottom line. And that double bottom line is one, they're normally investing for some social reason. Like in the first company I had, we got an investment because we were creating sustainable jobs. And then the second part of their investment thesis is that they'll get a return. So, I don't know, there may be some community development funding that's out there that's more tailored toward women and women needs that you might want to, just kind of explore and see if they're out there to go after.
Right, so you're kind of looking at some type of alternative financing as far as banks are concerned. We used to have what we call the MeBe-Weebie loans, minority women-based loans, and that kind of faded away a little bit as of now. So we don't have that right now, but obviously whether you're a male, woman, whatever, banks are going to take a look at cash flow, collateral, and debt coverage, no matter what.
There's go ahead, Victor.
Well, no, the SBA also has women's business centers. We have 4 women's business centers, and some of them are actually also micro lenders. And so I think if you talk with the SBA people in terms of the rest of my team who's here today, they may be able to give you some direction in terms of working with them directly because they kind of tie in both. They do the technical assistance as well as the lending piece. And so I think that would be a good resource for you. And we have 4 of them in the Tri-County area.
Yeah, and there's 2 venture funds that are only for women. Women's Venture Fund and Golden Seeds. They're venture capitalists that are all women, and they only invest in women-owned businesses.
My other question was, it might not necessarily be addressed to this panel, but
we'll take it anyway.
Yeah, take it as it is. I was wondering about if anyone has gone ahead and done secured grants for funding small businesses, or has any experience in securing grants.
For private enterprise?
Yes.
I know the SBA got out of that business a long time ago.
Yeah, the SBA we do not actually have any grant programs. Now, there are other government grant programs through other agencies. And so if you have a specific, for example, if you are let's say in the agricultural business, you can go to the USDA website, and they have different grant programs that might be applicable for you, and other government agencies where you can look at, particularly for grants. But the SBA in and of itself does not have any grant programs.
Do we have time for one more question?
Yeah, sure.
All right, how's everybody doing today? My name is Jason Thompson. I am the co-founder of a new startup called StorageOneUp.com. And my question for you is this. We're trying to disrupt the public storage industry by allowing you to rent out space in your home or your garage and make money that way. My main question is, here in California, there's not much of a support structure for Black entrepreneurs. I know this is a minority-based discussion, but I'm going to talk about my demographic. And I was curious to know, within the tech sector, what your recommendations would be. I'm a part of almost every association that you could think of, but what VCs can I approach that are going to be minority friendly, or for that matter, friendly to African Americans?
I can take a stab at it.
Yeah, was it? Go ahead.
You sure?
Yeah, sure.
My experience, at least in LA, with the accelerators and the incubators that are typically backed by the VC, the venture capitalists, they are, we'll say, unconcerned with your background or your gender or your sexual orientation. They value and they'll evaluate a company, especially tech-based, so like Santa Monica, all those, they're all there, and some of them are out in Pasadena. They're really going to look at your platform and what your business is. Did you say you're renting out garages?
We're pretty much renting out anything that you have available in your house as far as space is concerned, whether it's your garage, could be an extra room, etc.
What about my daughter's room? Can I rent that out?
Yeah. You
can
rent
I rent out my neighbor's garage?
So
it's kind of like an Airbnb, but
exactly.
like on a real small
We
micro
brand it
level.
as an Airbnb for storage.
Yeah, so like Science in Santa Monica, they incubate, it's similar to what yours is, but they do house like mansions and stuff all over the country. I forgot what it's called right now. There are incubators and accelerators in LA that are specifically looking for businesses like yours.
Right, I've spoken to a number of them. We just won 3rd place at USC Startup Weekend.
Oh, hey, congratulations.
The only issue is a lot of people want you to come into their incubator, but they might not be the right incubator or accelerator for what you're doing.
That's true, and they'll take a big chunk of it too.
Yeah. Okay, this will be a problem that I'll solve, though. No biggie.
Yeah, I just think that the fact that you're a women or a minority-owned business has to be, just a one facet of who you are as a business and what you're trying to accomplish as a business, and it can't be the leading edge for whatever it is that you're trying to do, whether that be winning a contract or raising capital. And I think there was one young lady who talked about unevening the unlevel playing field. And I just recall in one example that I had while we were trying to win a contract where the customer, we went in and we didn't win it. And the customer called us back, major brand, I guess it's probably okay to say who it was Procter & Gamble. We didn't win this bid, and then they called us back as a team, flew us back to Cincinnati, just to tell us that they appreciated the fact that they knew we were a minority-owned business, but they appreciated the fact that we did not try to uneven the playing field by presenting the fact that we were a minority-owned business as a basis for trying to win business with them. So I just make that point that, we all understand the challenges that go along with being a minority or a woman owning a business, but the fact is you have to compete on your merit and what it is that your company does. And there's advantage to having your status, because there is a community of companies out there that want to do business with you because of it, not because they owe it to you. So, may not be the popular position or stance to take.
It's an honest one, though.
No, that's very important. I just want to reiterate, like I said earlier, leading with competence. And you'll be surprised, SBA, we have so many different certifications, but at the end of the day, whether it's a government contract or any other contract, they want to make sure you're going to be able to deliver. The fact that you happen to be minority certified or a women certified business is value added.
Yes,
but if they don't believe that you're going to be able to deliver on that contract, regardless how many certifications you have, you will not get that contract. So leading with competency and making sure that you are marketing yourself based on your strengths and your talents is really, really important.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, I think with that, we'll close our panel. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good job.